Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the big show. I am Al Walsh. You can follow me on Twitter at 14A.Walsh right there. I'm joined by Nicky Rodriguez from the bottom of the map in Miami. What's going on, Nick?
How's it going today, Al? How's New Jersey treating you?
Tremendous. A little hot and muggy, but that's all right. Listen, I'm excited for the start of college football here. Now, if you're wondering why the Big Three is -1 playing shorthanded right now, that's because we got Wags going on. I got my voice going on here in the background, but Wags, he's a little busy doing some stuff right now. Didn't get all the college football research that he wanted in today. But you know what? That's okay. We'll hold it down for the man.
What was it? German homework?
German homework, yes. Wags is trying to get his degree there in political science, I believe it is. So he wants to rule the world one day. And in order to rule the world, you have to be able to speak the language of the world. I mean, not that German is the world, but you gotta basically take over each country one by one. Like next semester he'll probably be taking French. The one after he'll probably be taking Zimbabwean or something like that. So, I mean, listen, if he learns, then we learn too. So
exactly,
all a great thing.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's a requirement there at University of Texas.
That's right. He is a Longhorn, hook 'em horns. I get, when we talk about the Saturday slate at some point, they're traveling to Notre Dame this week. That's a big game. So
he'll be fired up.
Oh, hell yeah. So do you like my background?
I was wondering. I was looking at that now. I was wondering if you're actually in the city or what's the situation over there.
I'm actually skydiving, as you can see.
Watch out with that building.
That's the Flatiron building right there. That's good stuff right there. Great building.
Right.
A lot of ladies hanging out. All right, so let's get to it. The reason we're here tonight, college football starts here Thursday night. We're here about 10 p.m. on the East Coast right now. Most people will probably watch this tomorrow morning. So, good morning, everybody, wherever you are. Good morning, Vietnam. But, yeah, I mean, tomorrow, opening night college football, nice little 9-game slate out there. Now, I am not a college football expert. I am a big fan. I've done a lot of reading on it, but I'm sure as hell going to act like I'm an expert here tonight on this show.
Hey, you are an expert. Come on now.
All right. I guess in this circle, right?
We're the experts here.
Nah, you know what? I mean, last season I got into college football, fantasy college football. I was more of an onlooker than I was a competitive player. But, that did give me a lot of time to kind of check these teams out. Like North Carolina was a team that I watched a lot last year. We're going to talk about them here in a little bit. South Carolina's got some guys that I recognize, like TCU. A lot of great weapons on that team. I mean, we'll surely get to it. But I like how it's just like a nice little 9-game slate here, and we're not getting whacked over the head with like 20 games here on the first night. So that's a good start here.
Best way to start right there. 9 games, easy Thursday night.
Yeah. I guess it's an easy Thursday night if you're not like University of Texas San Antonio or some team or like Tulane, some team that's going to get clubbed over the head bad. So, speaking of somebody that's going to get clubbed over the head pretty badly, let's start it down in your home state there, Florida. I guess there's 2 games that go on at 6 o'clock. We'll talk about the shittier one of the 2 right now. Florida International is at UCF, the Golden Knights there in Orlando. Great campus. I've partied there many times. That has nothing to do with daily fantasy college football. But so the Golden Knights are 13-point favorites in this one, over-under of 46. In my initial research, I wasn't too thrilled about the prospects of who was in this game. Upon further review, I might have found a diamond in the rough here. Man by the name Jordan Akins. He's a 23-year-old sophomore. Now, the guy actually used to play minor league baseball, so that's why he's not a big dummy. Why he's 23, he's still a sophomore. He went the Russell Wilson route, the Chris Blanky route. But it's weird to see a wide receiver like that. He's the only guy on the Golden Knights that's caught a pass for this team, in the past for this team. So this is a big physical guy. Look for him to catch a lot of passes here. Now he only had like 12 catches for about 110 last year, but listen, Golden Knight, they lost pretty much every single one of their weapons as in terms of wide receiver. So I think Akins is probably going to get the bulk of all the touches there at wide receiver.
I agree. I like that stat. He's the only one that's caught a pass.
Right.
That shows he might be the #1 target there this year. And FIU, UCF, low-scoring game. Both of these teams play good defense. No one here I'm targeting. I was reading the running back situation at UCF. Right. They're going to split the carries, split the touches, so not looking at any running backs here, especially if it's going to be a close game. You quarterbacks, I don't really love any quarterbacks here. Yeah. I would definitely look at the South Carolina game. We'll get to that. TCU. But no players I'm here looking at that are eye-openers to me.
Now, Justin Holman, he's a quarterback for UCF, priced at $6,500. On DK, where, you're playing two quarterbacks, I guess that's not a bad option. I guess the only thing for me is that I'm not really sure how these wide receivers are going to perform, having the action that they've never had before. There's, plenty of games on the slate that we're going to get to where, you could afford some receivers that are great. But, Atkins priced there at $4,000. I'm willing to take – I got him right now in one of my flex spots. So, I'm hoping for big things from this guy. Lord, please, Jesus, get me some.
I gotta talk to those guys at FIU.
Yes.
I don't know.
You're a pretty tough bunch there, the FIU guys. Well, here's the deal. You got the three big schools in Florida: Miami, Florida State, and Florida and Gainesville. But you got a school like I know you got UCF, FIU, USF there in Tampa. I guess these are kind of the schools that get all the leftovers that don't go to the big schools.
Exactly.
So there is some talent. There is some talent there. It's just a matter of who's directing that talent.
Yeah, all the 5-star recruits either go to UM, FSU, especially FSU. These past couple of years, Jameis Winston. They got your boy Jameis Winston.
My boy, number 3 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Well, actually, not too many hearts. Not too many hearts, but
just don't take them to Publix now.
Hey, let that boy have his seafood. Oh, yeah. All right, let's get into a much more exciting game.
Let's get to the big game.
Yes, indeed. All right, now this one's going to be at 6 o'clock. This is the one that's probably going to – I think it's ESPN, one of the ESPN networks, if not, the mothership. You got South Carolina favored at 2.5 here on UNC. This game is in Columbia, South Carolina, I believe. Is it North Carolina? I guess we probably should have figured that out. But I've seen different sites that have it at different venues. I think it's at North Carolina. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's at North Carolina. Great preparation on our part. But in this game, you got an over-under of 64. And interesting statistic about North Carolina, which actually helps both teams out in terms of production in this game. Last year in 2014, they ran one play for every 19.8 seconds. That was tops in all of college football. So with that, that's just more opportunities for each team. This is obviously a game that you want to target here on the slate. Nick, I know we were talking a little bit about this before the show, but who's the one guy that you got to have from this game?
Before we get to that one guy, is that stat accurate? They ran plays faster than Oregon?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Wow, that is interesting.
Well, know what the problem was? Oregon probably scored so much that, it was like, while UNC would be running a new play, the other guy was like running to the end zone. So
that's a good point.
I just made that up. On the fly talent, baby.
Hey, Oregon did score 60 points, so they were in and out of that field quickly.
Very true. Very true.
But one guy I'm here looking at, quarterback, not Marquise Williams, but Connor Mitch.
Oh, okay. All right.
You said a 64 over-under here. This is going to be his first game as a starter for
All right.
South Carolina. 64 points. South Carolina's got to score some points too. Connor Mitch, 7,300 on FanDuel, could be a nice second option at quarterback on DraftKings.
Right.
High scoring game. He's got a top receiver. And how do you say his name? Farrell Cooper?
Pharaoh Cooper.
Farrell Cooper. That guy's a beast.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Definitely one of the top receivers in college football.
Now, staying on theme with the South Carolina team, I really like the other receiver there, Deebo Samuel, priced at $6,000 on FanDuel, DraftKings. He's going to run you 4,600, which is basically nothing. Now, Pharaoh Cooper, expect him to just have an absolutely monstrous day, but in a game with the total of 64. Debo. I mean, how could you not have a guy named Debo on your team? I just feel confident of it the whole night, knowing that I got a guy named Debo on my team, hoping that he takes Pharaoh Cooper's bike and then all the targets that he gets too. Starts riding it. What's up?
I might want to name my son Debo after I see his performance.
Right? You can be guaranteed that nobody would ever mess with your son if you named him Debo, unless he joined like the fencing team, and in which case they'd probably just call him like Debo E. I don't know. D. They'd probably just call him D.
So this is your guy tomorrow, Deebo Samuel.
I mean, listen, he's not gonna have a better game than Pharaoh Cooper. I know that, but I got some other places where I'm spending up a little bit. But Deebo Samuel, redshirt freshman. Spurrier talked about him in a recent article. Big, fast, athletic kind of guy. He said he reminds him a lot of the former receiver Ellington there at South Carolina. He had a great career there. That didn't necessarily translate to the NFL, but listen, we're talking about college, not the pro game.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, again, in a game with 64 and UNC's just running plays up and down the field. South Carolina's going to have their hands on the ball too. I'm not worried at all. For 4,600, if he gets you at least, 15 points, if he gets in the end zone, I feel like he's done his job. So, let that be a lesson to all the college football fanatics out there. One thing I did want to mention too, there is a slight chance of rain in this game. It's not like it's going to be, it's going to be like a muddy track like they were running. I forgot what horse race it was this year where they're slopping around the mud.
Oh, I don't remember.
Not going to be like that. Probably just going to be a quick shower that passes through. But, if you're somebody that really, makes your picks based on the weather, definitely keep that in your back pocket.
But there's some great news here.
Oh.
This isn't baseball.
Okay.
We don't have to worry about the rain as much, finally.
Yes,
I know, look at the weather report all the time. This is college football. They play in the rain.
Yeah, I know. I can't wait till we get to NBA where we don't have to worry about anything. It's like you might have to check for the occasional snowstorm in like Minnesota or something, but that's really it. But I mean, look, it can come into play if you have an absolute monsoon. Obviously don't want to tap the passing game, but again, this isn't a weather situation. What's going to take away from any of the offense going on. Now we talked about the Carolina at the bottom of the map. Let's talk about the Carolina at the north side. Marquise Williams, can't say enough about this guy. You look at his game log on, both sites from last year. He absolutely tore it up. Did have a little bit of a slip there against NC State. I remember last season I actually rostered Marquise Williams. Now this is when he was much more of a lesser known guy out there on the college football landscape. So it was much easier to fit a guy like that in, feel a little confident. But against South Carolina, they don't have the same kind of team that they had in the past. They're not even in the top 25 right now. Look for Marquise Williams to have himself a day. It's going to cost you some bucks, but, you can definitely feel confident that I would say 30, if not 40 points coming from him tomorrow night.
I like that projection. He's definitely worth the investment.
Indeed.
And one guy I'm looking at here is one of his wide receivers, Ryan Switzer.
Yes, the little Julian Edelman.
Exactly. 5,500 on FanDuel. That's a great price compared to some of these other guys. Last year, he had 61 receptions for 757 yards. Also ran the ball 8 times. So you might
Yeah.
see a little trick play, wildcat, where he runs the ball. But 4 touchdowns caught last season. This is a guy to look out for.
Yes.
5,500, high scoring game. Ryan Switzer, watch out for him.
I have a feeling he's going to be owned like 75% across the industry. This isn't a guy that really sneaks up on people. Like, if you know college football, you know Ryan Switzer. Like, this guy was on SportsCenter pretty much every week last season. I think he returned like 4 or 5 punts. I think 4. But, this guy is amazing in the special teams. You can get yourself some points that way if he takes one to the house. I expect Switzer's ownership levels to be through the roof tomorrow. The other 2 receivers there, Kinshaw Davis, Matt Collins, both great options. Kinshaw's going to run you pretty penny on FanDuel. DraftKings, actually a very nice value there, 5,200. FanDuel at $7,000, probably a little too much.
Yeah, too much there when you can get Switzer at 5,500 and Matt Collins at 52. I would rather get Hollins or Switzer just because of the price there. All great receivers, though.
Yes. We'd be remiss if we didn't mention the running back from North Carolina, TJ Logan. Now, he isn't necessarily a guy that you can count on for double-digit points, really, even. But that's kind of what makes Marquise Williams so valuable is that, they're not a team that really goes to the running back so much. So, that's why Marquise Williams is priced so high and, his usage rate is, through the roof.
Yes.
So if you're going with Marquise Williams, you know that at least you're going to have the ball in his hands all game long and at a very quick rate at you.
Exactly.
Hell of a breakdown by the matchups of Carolina.
This is our game tomorrow.
Indeed. Hey, I also want to let you guys know, if you haven't checked out fantasydraft.com, bang it there. Hit the promo code Big3DFS. That'll get you a free $10 ticket to play along with. We talked to these guys last week. They have guys like Clayton Kershaw, Drew Brees, Doug Gilmore even on there. They're affiliated with the site. They do a little promo for them. So, if the pros are there, that's definitely the place to go.
Definitely. That's the place to go right there. I love the site. Been playing this whole week for baseball. Great contest there. 25% of the people win. Doesn't get better than that.
Indeed. Much more of an even playing field there as well.
Exactly.
Hey, how have you been doing in baseball this week?
This week, I've been focusing on fantasy draft. I've won all these past, what day are we in? Wednesday, these past 3 days.
Nice.
Thursday, I had Kershaw pitching tonight with Cole Hamels, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. I had a really good last 2 nights after an absolutely abysmal last week. And then tonight, I just got my hole blown out all over the place. Like, this afternoon, I guess Kyle Schwarber got taken out of the lineup, like, while they were running onto the field. Like, I had no idea. I'm in work. I'm like, all right, whatever. And at the last, I kind of, like, changed him at the last second, too, because I had Jason Bourgeois, who I've been talking about all friggin' weekend.
That guy's been on fire.
And then he leads off the game with a homer. I took him. I put in Rizzo and Schwarber, and I took out Votto and Bourgeois, who both went yard today. So, but I also had Sonny Gray, so I wouldn't have done a damn thing. No big. Yeah, and then I tried to get cute and go value with Taijuan Walker from Seattle tonight, and that didn't work out so well. Aaron Nola was my other option, so I guess it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, just today wasn't your day. You won yesterday. I guess the gods didn't want you to win today.
No, that's okay. I mean, I'm not like absolutely distraught about it, but I hit pretty big last night, so I'm not
exactly.
I'm not crying wolf here. All right, next game on the docket, we've got. Let's go to that Central Michigan. Yeah, Oklahoma State is at Central Michigan. 23.5-point favorites are the Cowboys of Oklahoma State, minus 2,500 on the money line. That's a sure winner right there. Over-under set at 58.5 on this one. I'm a little upset with Oklahoma State because my boy Walsh was playing quarterback, and he's not the starter anymore, so they can go screw themselves. But Oklahoma State has a ton of weapons on their team. Get it kicked off with who we should be looking at tomorrow.
One guy I'm looking at, these receivers all have experience. They were on a team last year. David
Okay.
Glidden, sorry. One guy I'm looking at here. He has those games where he just explodes.
Okay.
Like last year, I'm looking here, Baylor on November 22nd, 5 catches, 99 yards, and a touchdown. So he has those games where he explodes.
Yeah.
Averages 3 catches a game. So he's definitely going to get his targets. It's going to, I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling about this game. Mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Mason Rudolph. Um, Not a guy I'm targeting at quarterback. I don't know what you think. I'm curious to see what you think here.
Well, I already told you I screw that guy because he took my boy Walsh's
Exactly.
job. So, him and the whole first team offense can go to hell. I want Walsh back in there. If Walsh were starting, he would absolutely be my quarterback just based on that alone. I do like the running back here from Oklahoma State, Chris Carson, 5,900 on FanDuel, 6,200 on DraftKings. Clear-cut number one running back for the team, although they might drop some carries off to his backup, the backup, Rennie Childs, who is no slouch in his own mind, or in his own right. This guy Carson, he just came over from Georgia. He was actually a JUCO transfer. He's all set to go to Georgia, and then Oklahoma State came and swooped him away at the last second. Um, this is not a good Central Michigan team. They're in the MAC
Exactly.
there, going up against a Big 12 team with a high-powered offense like this. Probably going to be pretty ugly for them. Only reason that I, don't make Carson an elite running back in this one is just because of the blowout risk. Although, on the other hand, I had this thought last night. Now, stay with me for a second.
All right,
Now,
I'm listening.
this is Carson's first game with Oklahoma State, right?
Okay.
Now, if it seems like there's a little, like he is the clear-cut running back, number one, but it seems like Childs could, hop in there and take some carries away. This guy in his first game with the team, I think he's going to be, with his head on fire, like I think he wants to come in there and prove like, hey, you know what? This is who I am, fellas. Like, he wants his team to, hop on his back. He wants that job, if that's what I'm thinking. I mean, listen, if this guy was going to Georgia and, we know the pedigree of the running backs that come in at Georgia. They're unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with that is, like you said, the splitting of the carries between Childs and Carson.
Right.
That's the only thing that worries me, but I love that point about Carson. You're kind of convincing me to go Carson.
Yeah.
But there's just some running backs here that we'll talk about later that I just love.
Yeah, listen, Carson should have a great game, but yeah, there's going to be some running backs that we're going to talk about here in a little bit that they just have a better opportunity, for a very similar price. And, that's
Exactly.
what winning this game is all about, baby.
He could be a nice option as a flex on DraftKings, but FanDuel, I don't see him in my lineup.
Yeah.
Maybe in a DraftKings with those 2 flex options, you can squeeze them in there. I like that idea.
I was looking at him, a couple times, and then I started getting down to some finance slashing. So I already got my lineup locked in for tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with the rest of the folks. But sorry, Carson, you're not there. Wah, wah, wah.
Where's the trumpet when you need it?
Brandon Shepard, receiver, also the clear-cut number one guy at his position, 7,300 on FanDuel, 6,000 on DraftKings. He had a absolutely amazing last 2 games to end 2014.
Wow.
Capped it off there with the 22.78 against, I believe that was
Oklahoma.
2 TDs, That's good for 38.3 on DraftKings. So you tabulate those two together. That's basically, what is that, 60 in 2 games right there. Look for him to, keep that momentum going for those 2 performances. He had 2 other big performances during the season in 2014. But when you cap off the season like that, I mean, you got nothing but momentum coming into 2015.
Exactly. Hard to pass up a guy that just exploded
Yeah.
with those numbers at the end of the season, especially that it was the last 2 games and not the first 2 games.
Yep.
That momentum is huge, especially in college football.
Chihuahua. All right, yeah. So those are the only 2 Cowboys I think me and Nick are even considering tomorrow, especially with the blowout. Nobody really on Central Michigan's popping out to me. I'm sure they're going to get their hands on the ball, probably get some garbage time points, but again, opportunity looms much brighter elsewhere.
I actually like maybe some receivers here
Okay.
because they're going to be playing from behind. They're going to be throwing the ball a lot. Maybe like a guy like Jesse Kroll, who was their #1 receiver last year. He had 36 receptions and 582 yards. Maybe you could go with the guy, value play, 5,200, but don't really love any guys from Central Michigan. But that's one guy to look at.
Yeah, Kroll had some pretty nice games here, so if they get behind, that could definitely be something to look at. All right, now another game that we'll talk for a second about this Michigan-Utah game. I don't think that this is necessarily a great fantasy game. I think if you're a fan of Michigan or Utah, you want to sit down, watch the game, watch Harbaugh's debut with the Wolverines. I think this is a good game to watch. But from a fantasy perspective, this game is just making me run.
Really?
Yeah, I want no part of this. How about you? You got guys you like here?
I got one guy here, Devontae Booker.
Ah, yes.
Utah is known for running the ball. Kyle Whittingham had a press conference or something that he wants to give Booker at least 30 touches per game.
Whoa.
Which is ridiculous. Last year he rushed. What was that?
No, I was going to say, last year he was an absolute ball hog. But,
yeah, he was a bull. 1,512 rushing yards. Can also catch the ball from the backfield. This is going to be a tight game, Michigan, Utah. Devontae Booker is my guy at running back tomorrow.
Now, Booker is a beast. I will not downplay that whatsoever. But do you feel comfortable paying up to that salary that he's going to perform at that? He's not going against like Colorado or Arizona or any of these guys. Michigan, they're coached by Harbaugh now. Listen, now it might not, the transition might not take place in week 1 here, but eventually over time, Michigan is going to be a better team. They have a much better coach than they've ever had at this school. Yes, he's a pain in the ass, and he wears weird khakis with pleats on them, but they're going to be a better football team.
Yeah, especially that Harbaugh was a defensive-minded guy. Booker's my second option at the running back position, but Booker, man, with those 30 carries a game and his ability to catch the ball from the backfield, he's a guy to definitely consider.
He is. You know what? I can't. The only thing I can argue with is the price point. He's going to get the touches. That's without saying.
Looking at his stats last year, his lowest carries were 17 carries.
Yeah.
17 carries in one game.
And
then that game he had 9 catches. So he's always involved in the offense.
Yeah. You ever been to Utah? That's a pretty weird place.
No, I haven't. Should I put that on my bucket list?
No, don't do that. Don't do that. Definitely don't do it.
To our listeners out in Utah, our wash does not mean that. No. He loves Utah.
Well, the one thing that I am for is not having multiple wives. I'm not married, but I know other people who are married, and isn't one wife like a pain in the ass? So why would you want like multiple pains in the asses, I don't know. They know what they're
That's one
doing.
way to look at.
Yeah, they've been doing that crap out there for years. Like I guess they know what they're doing. But then again, I think in Utah the wives aren't even allowed to talk back to the men. So who knows? I read it in a book. Who knows?
Oh, you read this? This is a fact. Then this is a fact.
Yeah, I don't think it was a nonfiction book, but hey, you know what?
Nonfiction.
It had words in it. It was good enough for me.
Al Walsh is not a Utah Jazz fan.
No, God, no. I mean, I'm down with Rodney Hood, former Duke alum. What up? What am I saying? A former Duke alum, like I went to Duke. No, I'm just a fan of the basketball team and a fan of one of their players. Ooh, what a teaser. All right, so Booker's the only guy that we're talking about here from Michigan, Utah.
Yeah, that's the one guy I'm looking at here. No one else. I don't know about you.
All right, well, as Wag says, right on. But yeah, I got nothing from this game. I'm not touching this game whatsoever. I want to see some blowouts. I want to see some weak defenses, and I don't think I'm going to get it in this game.
Exactly. This is gonna be a hard-nosed game, though. That's for sure.
Indeed. Now I have to kind of go off of what I said here a minute, where I want to see blowouts. But this is going to be a close game. But we got some pretty weak defense here. We got Nikki's new favorite team, Western Kentucky, at Vanderbilt. This is going to be a great game. You're going to have offense flying all over the yard. Western Kentucky now a 3-point favorite. Vanderbilt actually opened up as a 2.5-point favorite. So you see the swing in the money going Western Kentucky's way. That is a great sign for the Hilltoppers. They are a 3-point favorite, like I said, and an over-under now of 62.5. Western Kentucky is not sleeping on anybody anymore. They were probably one of the most lucrative teams to use in all of DFS college football last year. Led by the quarterback, Dowdy. I got him in my lineup. I recommend you have him in your lineup. I recommend everybody. I recommend the people in Utah have him in their lineup. This is going to be probably the most fun game of the entire evening. I know we're talking about Utah and Michigan being a competitive game. I think this could trump it just in terms of offense. There is a boatload of weapons, options that we should be looking at here. Now I want to start with Western Kentucky. They returned 16 starters, 7 on offense, 9 on defense. And listen to these stats right here. These are incredible, right? So they returned 99.7% of their passing yards from last year. They returned 98.2% of their rushing yards from last year. And they returned 80.8% of their scoring from last year. That is unheard of in college football. So, all that familiarity with the Hilltoppers would definitely going to benefit them. And, I think it speaks heavy volumes of what Vegas says here, too, how, Western Kentucky, in a mid-major conference, coming in as a 3-point favorite at an SEC school. I love the Hilltoppers in this. I'm going to have red all over my lineup tomorrow. They also have one of the coolest mascots in college football. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
Oh, the Hilltoppers. I don't think I've seen their mascot. I'm definitely going to Google that.
Google that real quick. While you do, let me talk about Brandon Dowdy. 10,100 on FanDuel, 9,000 on DraftKings. I absolutely have him as my QB1 on DraftKings. Listen, this guy is going to put up some serious numbers against this Vanderbilt defense. I see that you saw that.
That is the best mascot in college football history.
It's incredible, right? It's like, what is it? It looks like a red
Barney.
Grimace. No, remember Grimace, like the old McDonald's
Yes.
that guy? It's like a red Grimace.
I see it. I was thinking Barney, but Grimace looks more like it.
That's all good. That'd be a great name for a band, Red Grimace.
Yeah.
But yeah, absolutely, Brandon Dowdy. I'm gonna pair him up with Antoine Grant in this game. He is at on DraftKings. He's at 3,700. Taywan Taylor is another good option, very cheap on DraftKings, 4,800. Jared Dangerfield, he's the number one receiver for this team, but you could go any route of options. There's a great guy you guys should follow on Twitter, Casey Carruthers. He actually writes for the website Daily Fantasy Sports Rankings, dailyfantasysportsrankings.com. He's the college football writer over there. But, we were tweeting the other day, and, I had to ask him a couple questions about, because we had the show coming up. I needed a little expert insight. So I asked him about Western Kentucky. He said these guys just spread the ball all over the yard. Everybody's getting touches. It's a good time. So that's definitely why I'm going with Dowdy in this one.
So you're saying to all those listeners, everybody, just put the entire Western Kentucky team on your roster.
Maybe not the entire team. You definitely want to leave some options elsewhere. But, yeah, I think if you want a great value play at wide receiver, I can't see you going wrong with either Taywan Taylor or Anton Grant. These guys are incredibly reasonably priced, and going to see tremendous production out of these guys. So I think I think both those guys will probably have the same amount of points in this one, maybe like 10, 15, something like that.
I'm definitely gonna watch out for those guys.
All right.
I especially like Antoine Grant on FanDuel just because he's $1,000 cheaper.
Right.
So that's a guy to look at. But here, this FanDuel has the tight end position. I know DraftKings doesn't. So
Yep.
I'm looking at tight ends here from both sides of the ball.
Okay.
Just because this is going to be an offensive game. Like you said, Western Kentucky likes to spread the ball. So Tyler Higbee could be a guy to look out for. Average 9 FanDuel points a game, which is very good for a tight end.
Yeah, that tight end position on FanDuel. That's why I switched over to DraftKings this year. I can't deal with that tight end position. Killing me.
I might have to do that. But I'm going to try out the tight end week 1, see how I like it. But the other guy, Steven Scooey, I don't know how to say his last name. I'm no reader, but this guy.
I'm no good at reading.
This guy had 39 receptions and 525 yards for a tight end at college football.
Yeah.
That's some good stats right there.
Yeah.
Especially against a weak defense.
Yeah, he had what is this? 10 plus points in 5 of his last 6 games. On the DraftKings level, but I'm sure that translates over to FanDuel well as well. Well, touchdowns in 3 of the last 4 as well. So, look out for Scooey. Shoot.
Definitely.
Shoot.
Are you looking at Johnny McCary for your lineup at quarterback?
Nah. I'm not going that route. I'm gonna go, Brandon Dowdy, and then I have another quarterback that we haven't talked about yet that I'm gonna go to. Incredibly reasonably priced. That doesn't even make sense. I'm just gonna trademark it. It's incredibly reasonably.
Hey, Wolf.
Dang. All right. Yeah, but one guy that I am looking at in this game, running back from Vanderbilt, Ralph Webb. DraftKings, he is 6,500. I forgot to check his price on FanDuel, but
I got you. 8,900.
8,900. That's
Yes.
insane. That's insane. DraftKings only, but Ralph Webb is going to have an amazing game in this one. Now, you look at Vanderbilt, their offense is god-awful. Now, the only source of, what's going to happen here is probably going to be Ralph Webb. Western Kentucky's defense, speaking of awful defense, they are terrible as well. Hence why the over-under in this game is so high. I think Ralph Webb is the only legitimate option on offense that Vanderbilt has. I am calling it right now. You know how we do the Dong call?
Yes, let me bring it up.
Baseball. I'm calling 200 plus yards from Ralph Webb tomorrow night.
That is a huge call right there.
Now that's total. That's not.
Oh, okay.
I'm saying 200 plus total yards from Ralph Webb tomorrow night.
Is he the punt returner and kick returner as well?
I don't know. You don't get points for like the yards only if you take it to the house.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. They might as well throw him back there. Shit, man.
Just to help you with that call right there. Maybe he
Yeah.
gets 60 punt return yards, and right there you got 60. I'm gonna call
Well,
Vanderbilt's coach tomorrow and let him know.
yeah, it's got. I mean, it's got to go to the end zone, or it don't mean diddly do. You know.
We're just talking about total yards, not fantasy wise.
Oh. All right. How about this? All right. Let me get it there then. All right. Rushing and receiving 200 plus. I'm calling that a web
Okay.
tomorrow. All right.
All right.
Now he's not much of a receiver, so it's gonna have to all be done on the ground. But I think he can get it done. This is gonna
I'm
be a
writing it
crazy.
down right here, right?
This is gonna be a crazy game. All right. Let's move it on. You got any other targets from this one? Oh, we didn't even talk. I'm sorry. We didn't even talk about Leon Allen.
Thank you.
Only reason we haven't is because he's so highly priced. But this is one of the best running backs in the nation right here. I had him on my FanDuel team a lot last year. Definitely want to see this guy do well. Maybe not tomorrow night, but definitely throughout the season. I think this guy could definitely be in the NFL. As a very productive running back at some point. If you go take a look at his game log from last season, you're just going to be doing this. Wow. Like he had, what do we got here? One game where he had 58.7 DraftKings points. That was against Army, who I actually saw live last year. It was like the worst time I ever had in my life. He had 33 carries for 345 yards, 3 touchdowns. He also had a game against Marshall where he had 33 yards for 237, 33 carries for 237 yards and a touchdown. He catches the ball out of the backfield as well. Also, another reason why I like having Dowdy because he could dump it down to Leon Allen. I like Allen. It's just the price point a little too high for me.
Yeah, it's too pricey, especially if you want to get that quarterback Brandon Doughty in there. That combo is gonna leave you with very little money, just them two alone.
Yeah, I'm reading the news here too. Allen's backup, Anthony Wales, is doubtful for the game.
Oh,
So that means that, Leon's probably going to see the lion's share. But still, I'm looking at other, like if I want to go with two $6,000 quarterbacks, I don't see myself being happy at the end of the night. But I got two running backs in my lineup that I feel very confident in that, they're going to get the job done. So, I mean, I might as well just go that route,
I
And my
agree.
second quarterback is pretty much a running back. So,
Oh, we'll get into that in a few.
hello! Is that the next game on the docket?
No, we
Nope.
have two more before it.
All right.
But I have a projection here.
Oh,
Where's
do
the drum
tell.
roll? Where's the drum roll? This year, WKU is going to be a top 25 team at the end of the year. I'm calling it.
All right. All
You
right.
heard it here first, folks.
I don't think it's too much of it. Like, I think people know. They absolutely have to win this game against Vanderbilt, I think, to be taken seriously in that light,
Exactly.
But yeah, I think that's definitely possible. They very talented team. All right. How about we do get to that running quarterback that I was talking about because he's very high on everyone's radar. It is the next game on the notes. We are of course about talking Duke at Tulane. Duke's a 7-point favorite in this one with the over-under set at 51.5. Over-under actually came up from 48 in this one, so that's a very positive sign here. Do you know who the quarterback I'm talking about here, Nick?
You are talking about the quarterback from Tulane, Tanner Lee. Oh,
I see what you did there. That was a good one. He
you're talking
knows.
about
He knows I'm talking about
Thomas Sirk.
Thomas Sark, of course.
Take it
Um,
away.
yeah, I mean, listen, this is a possibly the second coming of Tim Tebow. Now, no, he's not like the most Christian guy of all time, but now he is that Tebow type of quarterback where he's kind of a bully with the ball going up the middle in the red zone. He wasn't the starting quarterback last year. I know he's replacing Anthony Boone, who had an unbelievable season for the Blue Devils last year. But Cirque still had 8 touchdowns, just doing like little goal line carries and stuff like that. Now he's the starting quarterback, has a lot more responsibility. This is going to be probably the best value play. The only thing is that he's not going to fly under a lot of people's radars. I think on DraftKings, he could possibly be a 60% owned quarterback tomorrow.
That how you think?
I think so. I mean, because that way you're able to fit a guy like a Dowdy or, oh my God, like there's some good quarterbacks out there, or a new Solomon you could even go with. Boykin out of TCU. Now you can do that if you go with Cirque. You have the opportunity. Obviously FanDuel, I think that's a pretty ballsy play if you go with Cirque as your quarterback.
Exactly.
But hey, Tulane, they suck. They're probably gonna get ran up and down on the field. So, I think Cirque's gonna have a pretty good day. I think right around that 20-point range is probably where you should expect him to be.
Yeah, especially his ability to run the ball as well as pass. That's always a bonus. Gets a rushing touchdown, a passing touchdown. You're looking at a lot of points there just with those 2 stats alone.
Yeah. Big guy too. Not like Jared Lorenzen big, but pretty physical guy running the ball up there. I watched a couple of those games last year where Duke threw him in down there at the goal line, so a little bit familiar with him. Now Duke's actually had a ton of injuries at the running back position, so that kind of helps out Cirque too. Maybe if a ball gets placed on the 1 or the 2, I would say he's a shoo-in to go into the end zone. I was reading an article about Duke this week, and they said they had so many injuries at running back that they were taking like safeties and cornerbacks and seeing if they could do it. And this is like all this week too. These guys are getting thrown into the fire. So I think that'd be pretty funny if you throw a quarterback or a safety in at running back. So. Hey, Duke Blue Devils, their offense is pretty crazy as it is, so I'm interested to see what they do tomorrow night.
Definitely going to be a fun team to watch this season.
Yes.
Especially with Thomas Cirque leading the Blue Devils.
Yeah. Now, if their basketball team goes back-to-back, I'll be happy. But...
What if basketball and football wins it all?
Good one.
Man. Let's not get carried away now.
What's funny is that I actually, I guess for college basketball anyway, I find myself becoming less and less of a fan, with each year that goes on. I just find it really hard to root for, basically high school kids, I don't know. It's not that I'm hating on them. I'm just I don't know. It's I never went to Duke anyway, so what's the big deal? But listen, college football DFS has certainly brought me back into the college sports realm. Not so much basketball. I have never played the college basketball game, but college football is definitely pretty awesome. It's like pizza, right? Football's football, but pizza's pizza, right?
Exactly. No matter where you eat it.
My friends would kill me. They'd be like, "No, Papa John sucks."
Nah, pizza's pizza, no matter what time of the day either.
Hey, listen, we take our pizza quite seriously here in Jersey.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah. There's fist fights over which place is better.
Definitely not going to Jersey then.
Just don't get into fist fights. Just eat the pizza,
Eat the pizza and walk the other way. That's your advice?
Yeah, but you'd be a tourist, so you wouldn't be like, oh, Pompeii is better than Mona Lisa. I just name dropped 2 places in Bayonne. That's all right. But, as a tourist, you just go in there and be like, oh, that's good pizza. Now don't punch me in the face.
All right.
That's just
next time
Jersey.
I go to Jersey.
Yeah, that's just Jersey in general, though. Anybody else from Duke that you got your eye on this game?
You know what? Forget Duke. I'm looking at Tulane here.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. But one guy to look at here from Tulane is Teddy Veal. He's
all right.
their top receiver. Always a guy. Not always a guy. What am I saying? Definitely a guy to look at. Tulane's going to be playing from behind. Going to be passing the ball. Teddy Veal's their number one option. Listed at 6,000 on FanDuel. Could be a nice option.
Now be
Not sold
honest.
on this guy either.
Now be honest with me. Did you just pick his name because it says Teddy Veal, and that's like the greatest sounding name ever?
That is, some of these guys have amazing names. Debo, Teddy Veal.
If you
Guys,
go with
get these guys
Debo,
in your lineup.
if you go with Debo and Teddy Veal, you can't lose. You can't
There's
lose.
no way in losing.
And even if you did lose, you had a great time knowing that you had a guy named Debo and Teddy Veal. Those guys should go on. They should go on a comedy tour around the country. Debo and Teddy Veal. That's great. Oh man. Hey, Debo and Teddy Veal, if you're listening tonight, hit me up. I got some ideas, man. I got some ideas.
They're definitely watching.
Any more guys from you from this game?
Nah, let's go on to the next game.
Well, real quick, Shaquille Powell, both 4,700 or 4,700 on both FanDuel and DraftKings. Like I said, ton of injuries at the running back position, so basically last man standing for them. Will he get in the end zone? Will Cirque take all his goal line touches? Probably. But if he breaks one for that price, what the hell, right?
That's actually a guy I like, Shaquille Powell. Now that you mentioned him, with all
Hey.
those injuries, he's gonna get a lot of work.
Debo, Shaquille, and Teddy Veal.
Doesn't get better than that.
You can't stop him. You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him. All right, let's go to the great Midwest. Minnesota's hosting a pretty damn good football team. TCU. TCU is actually the second-ranked team in the country. Who the hell knew? TCU is wow. I had them listed as a 14-point favorite. They have jumped all the way up to the 17-point favorite. Minus 800 on the money line if you're into that kind of thing. And the over-under here is at 58 in this game. Tons of talent from the TCU side of things. Who's your top play from all those guys?
Top play. This is tough. So many good options.
A lot.
I'd probably go with the quarterback, Trayvon Boykin.
Yeah.
This guy averaged 31 fantasy points last year. If you're going to invest in a quarterback, this is one of the two guys to go with.
Yep.
His ability, 33 touchdown passes last year. Can carry the ball fast. This guy, last 3 games, 27 fantasy points, 49 and 23. You're guaranteed at least 20 fantasy points. With Boykin, definitely a guy to watch out for. And what better guy to go with than Josh Doctson? You're going to go with a little mini stack here.
Yep.
65 receptions, 1,018 yards, 11 TDs. Watch out for Josh Doctson this year. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, he's this guy's an absolute stud last year. Got a little nicked up here in the offseason, but should be good to go. If you're worried about the injury they had, he is recovering from a broken hand, but seems like he should be fine to go. But listen, this is football. Everybody gets nicked up all the time. I don't think it's bad enough where you have to fade the guy, but the guy is just an absolutely tremendous talent. Another receiver on that team, Colby Listenby. I think he's going to be highly owned, just like Switzer from UNC. 4,700 on DraftKings. Like, what the hell are they thinking? Listenby had a great year last year. FanDuel, he's listed at 5,900. I think obviously more of a play there. And then there's the thing too. If Dotson goes down, then Listenby will step in. You got some other good options. I'm not going to run down all the receivers from TCU, but just know if they're a TCU receiver, they're certainly in play tomorrow night. The only thing that scares me with TCU tomorrow is that Minnesota has a pretty good defense, and they're more of like a ball control type of team. But I think when the game is all said and done, TCU is going to be stomping on their heads. I don't know. It might look a little shaky there in the first half, but I think TCU will pull away eventually at the end. Boykin will have his 40 points or whatever, and the receivers will all go off. Another interesting guy from TCU, Aaron Green. He's the running back there, but he catches a ton of balls for this team, which could definitely help you out. With the great offense that Minnesota has, if they start trying to stack it up front, maybe slips out, nice little wheel route, couple dump downs. I think he's a great option if you can afford him. There's other options I'm kind of going with at running back, but I really like him. So I don't know if something happens, late tomorrow before lineup scratch and one of my guys goes down, I think I would look to try to replace him with Aaron Green.
Definitely, especially that he's at a decent price, not overpriced.
Yep.
Could be a guy to look at as a punt play.
Yeah, I like him a lot. It's just there's some better matchups for less money out there.
Are you looking at Mr. Mitch at quarterback tomorrow for the Golden Gophers?
I am not. I'm set with my two quarterbacks in Dowdy and Cirque. I like that. But again, Minnesota's more of a run-oriented team. They did lose Max Williams, the tight end, who was just an absolute fantasy stud last year. But yeah, I'm probably not going that route. TCU's, their defense isn't the greatest in the world, but they're gonna hit these guys pretty hard. Listen, they're not the number 2 ranked team in the country for nothing.
That's exactly what I was about to say. They're not ranked number 2 for no reason. They're there for a reason.
I'm looking at your computer again, man. I got it all figured out.
Oh, I gotta check for the viruses again.
Yeah, so that's TCU. Get some of those guys in your lineup. You will not regret it. All right, we're hitting the hour point here in the show. I think we got 2 more games left to discuss.
2 games. We're doing good.
So yes, all right. Let's talk about. Boy, the people are really going to be excited for this one. Ohio and Idaho. I mean, this is like Michigan, Ohio State part 2. This is where it's at. This is what makes college football so great.
This is my top game tomorrow. I have an asterisk next to it and everything.
Tickets have been sold out for this one for like 5 years. People are camping out right now as we speak to get into the stadium. Ohio comes in as a 7-point favorite. The over-under in this one's at 58. One of my favorite plays of the day is listed in this game. I want to see if you're thinking the same thing.
Say it.
AJ Woolette. I had to check out the pronunciation of his name online today, so I didn't sound stupid. But we got ourselves a miniature John Riggins, Mike Allstott on our hands here.
I think so. Hey, I love your effort on checking the pronunciation of his name.
Well, that's a tough one. I mean, like Teddy Veal, I knew what was up, but like, it looks like Oulé, and I didn't want to sound like a stupid dummy when I said it, but I had to check it out. That's what.
Let's give you a round of applause. Great research there.
Oh yeah, I did quite a bit of research on Mr. Woolette today. Started following him on Twitter. Seems like a nice guy. But yeah, one of the rarities in all of football, a white running back, but this guy's a beast. Priced very, very generously here at where the hell is he at? 6,400 on DK. Gonna run you 8,900 on FanDuel. Now, the thing about Willette is not necessarily him. it is the defense in which he is going against. Now, first of all, Ohio is returning their entire offensive line. That's huge. Speaking of huge, their offensive line, I think on average, is 325, and Idaho's defensive line is at like 275, I read. So, tremendous mismatch right there. Last year, when these two teams played each other, Ouellette had 27 carries for a $130 and 2 TDs. Ohio, I got caught up in that Michigan-Ohio State comparison. Idaho gave up 16 plays of 50 yards or more last season, and 4 of those came in the game against Ohio last year. This one has Ouellette field day written all over it. They also just kind of named their starting quarterback after having a little bit of a conundrum there with deciding who it was going to be. So look for a run-heavy attack from Ouellette in this one and a ton of points. I'm calling. I'm not calling 200 like I was because he might just kick ass so early that they might take him out. But I think he'll get his job done early.
So when is yours and your date with AJ? You seem to love the guy.
2 weeks from Sunday. He's busy the next couple of Saturdays. But I know. I watched some highlights. I read up on the guy. I got to thank Casey Carruthers on this one. He wrote about him in his article on Daily Fantasy Sports Rankings. But yeah, I like the guy, man. And listen, he's a white running back. We don't have many of those.
Oh man, I'm trying to find a comparison for him, but
all
I can think of is Toby Garrett, but that guy's not even that good.
Miniature Riggins or Allstott, but nah, he's not as big as Allstott. Actually, he reminds me of the guy from I think it was Riggins from Friday Night Lights. Did you ever watch that TV show?
No.
Oh, you must. What are you miss? You're missing out, dude.
I'm missing. I need to put that on my bucket list too.
Listen, if you don't have Netflix, I'll give you my Netflix information. You sit there and you watch all 5 seasons consecutively.
Perfect.
Dude, it's oh my god. Well, I didn't, I shouldn't say like, how have you never seen it? Because I didn't watch it until last year, and it's been on TV since like the 80s.
So I'm gonna need your Netflix account. And
oh yeah, you got it, man. You got it. We're on the same team. You got it.
Perfect. Definitely gotta watch it ASAP.
One love. All right. So now that my love affair with Ouellette is off the board, you got anybody that you like from this game?
I love AJ. I'm not gonna try to say his last name. I don't want to offend you or AJ. But one guy I'm looking at here is Deion Watson at the tight end position.
Okay.
He's a returning tight end for Idaho, your favorite team.
Yep.
Solid year. The tight end position's awful for fantasy sports. 37 receptions, 343 yards.
Right.
And according to August 11th, the coach announced that Watson was a star of the day in Monday's practice.
Oh my God! Give him a gold star on the helmet and call me Sunshine.
Says here Watson has consistently earned high praise in fall and spring. So I'm taking my chances with Watson.
All right, I'm about that life. Fair enough. There is a guy. I think he's making his rounds around the internet the last couple days. When I first did my research, I felt like this was going to be a great steal. Nobody else would have him, but I've seen a couple forums out there, and he's going to be maybe one of the. I don't know. He's going to be pretty highly owned, more than he should be. Guy named Desmond Epps. He's the number 1 receiver on Idaho, and the reason why nobody really knows about him is because he doesn't have anything in his game log. Why doesn't he have anything in his game log, you ask? Well, he was kind of a douche around campus last year, actually around the whole state of Idaho. He got arrested for DUI. He got arrested for stealing stuff. But the year before he got locked up and kicked off the team and all that stuff. He had some pretty good stats. I thought I had them written down. I don't know where the hell anything is anymore. I thought I had it on the damn note sheet, but it's not here. Oh, here we go. I'm sorry. On FanDuel, he's quite high priced, I think, for a guy that hasn't played in a year. 5,900 there, but on DraftKings, he's only 3,200. Number one receiver in a game that has a very quick pace. Idaho is a team that likes to throw the ball a lot. So, this is a guy that you have to have. I mean, here's his stats from 2013. 79 catches, 980 yards, only 4 touchdowns, but still, all those catches and all those yards. Definitely a guy I'm rostering tomorrow. Desmond Epps, look him up.
I wish he was cheaper on FanDuel.
Yeah.
Love those stats.
Well, get a contest going on DraftKings, bruh.
With those 87 cents I have left on DraftKings,
Why
definitely
not?
gonna go. Yeah, 25-cent tournament.
They have those, right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
why.
DraftKings has everything. Like, I'm all DraftKings all football season. I don't like doing 2 pitchers because it's like those people in Utah we were talking about before, right? Like, why do you want more than one wife? One's a pain in the ass. So why do you want 2, right? So it's like picking a pitcher. Like, why do you want to pick 2? Like, it's so hard.
I think it's easier to choose 2 than 1.
Yeah, could be. Although I've been having some pretty good luck with finding value pitchers. Just not
Until today.
Just not today, yeah. And then like the last 2 days I went Greinke and I forgot who I went. Oh, and David Price the other night. He didn't get the win, but he had a solid night. God, the top score on FanDuel for baseball right now is 82.
What?
Yeah. Oh, great. Chris Davis. I had him. He went yard twice. All right. Forget it, baseball. We got anybody else you got from this game?
Nobody.
Nobody. Couple decent play. Again, with Ohio, the receivers, Sebastian Smith, Jordan Reed. Smith is at 4,400 on DraftKings. Jordan Reed, another guy, 3,200. Remember what I said about Idaho giving up 16 plays of 50-plus yards last year. Both of those guys could be in line. And again, remember Ohio hit 4 on them last year. So, unless Idaho's like, all right, you're not getting 4 plays of 50-plus on us, we're going in prevent, then, they might not be the way to go. All right. I get last game. UT San Antonio is basically digging their own grave by traveling to Arizona. The Wildcats are 31.5-point favorites. Over under 54, which basically means Arizona's probably going to win this one 51-3. UTSA actually played Arizona pretty tough last year. But, bad thing for them is that most of their team has graduated, and most of Arizona's team is still at school. One of the best party schools in all of America, Arizona, by the way.
You get some great insight here.
Hey, listen, man. I'm about that life. All up and down the West Coast. Look, you could go a ton of ways here with Arizona. It's just the fact of how long are these guys actually going to be in the game. I could see Arizona stomping their hole out by halftime, and then Rich Rodriguez pulling the reins back. But I don't know. Do you got any guys in particular that you like from Arizona?
I have the same concerns with you. Is how long are these guys actually going to play?
Right.
That's the thing that's scaring me. But Nick Wilson, he's an animal.
Yeah.
Animal. That's all I have to say.
That's all.
That's all. 1,375 rushing yards last season, 16 TDs. He is a Heisman watch candidate, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Wide receiver, Caleb Jones, another guy to look at. Mr. Grant, Nate Phillips. This team is loaded. It's just how long are they going to play?
Yeah. I love watching Arizona. One of my good friends is a huge University of Arizona fan. So, watch a couple games, fantasy purposes, all that. But this is such a fun team to watch. This game, I don't even know if it's going to be on like they might have it on like local channel 52 there in Arizona, but this isn't a game.
ESPN4.
Yeah, it's not a game that anybody like really wants to see in terms of competitiveness. But yeah, this is basically just a warm up for the Arizona Wildcats. I think they're ranked decently high this year, right? I think are they 22 or better even, right?
I'm not sure. I know they're ranked. It doesn't say here on FanDuel.
Get a rank check on Arizona real quick. But yeah, I mean, listen, this offense, regardless of who they're playing, this is prime time football going on right here. A new Solomon. Now, again, great talent, but how long can that stay on the field for you? 9,200 is a little steep for me to maybe get like 2.5, 3/4 out of them. Same exact thing with Nick Wilson, like we said. I like Samaji Grant, decent price, 5,100 there on DraftKings. But I think the sneakiest play could come from the RB2, Jared Baker of Arizona. If Nick Wilson gets going, gets his 3 touchdowns and, 150 yards real early, I mean, Arizona is a run-first team. So, look for Jared Baker to get some pretty damn good production for only $3,000 on DraftKings. Come on,
Sneaky
huh?
play right there.
Very.
Going
Like,
with
why
the
not?
backup running
Why
back.
not? Why not use that as one of your flex picks? You know what I mean?
That's why I love DraftKings. Those flex options.
Yes. Yeah, I'm glad I made the switch this year. I tight end? What? College football? That doesn't even make sense.
You're convincing me.
Yeah.
Tonight after the show, I'm making a college football lineup for DraftKings. That's it.
And I'm thinking about it more now. Jared Baker, man, I think I got to put him in my lineup. Just I'm looking at all the guys I like in my notes right now. I just have like every single player on offense from Arizona there, and it's like, wow, they're gonna run all over this team rampant. So just that Jared Baker, yeah, I mean for $3,000, I
Might
could
as
see him
well.
get 2 touchdowns in blowout time. Why the hell not, right?
I got a trivia question for you here.
Oh, I love trivia.
Who is the starting quarterback for the Roadrunners?
Oh man, I have no idea. Like, should I know this name? Yeah, I don't know. Who is it?
Look it up. Look it up. I'll let you look it up.
All right.
I love his name. That's why I want you to look it up. Not because I think he's a good option.
Bogenschutz? Hey, he's in Wagner's friggin' German class. Oh dear Lord. I got no stock invested on Bogenschutz.
None?
None. Oh boy.
So no Roadrunners.
No, 0. Hey, yeah, so that's our breakdown of college football. Not too shabby for the debut of it. Now we got another slate coming up on Saturday. We'll do one. You want to do another show for that, Nick?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, we could do that, or we could do baseball. I don't know. We could even do both, right? Like, I'm not doing anything important. What the hell? I got to put together a basketball hoop for my little nephew. Dude, have you ever put a basketball hoop together?
Oh, with help, not by myself.
Oh my God. It's like you are not a real man until you've put together a basketball or even assisted putting together a basketball. It sucks, man. It's like, oh God. You got to put the base, you got to put the base together and then all the poles and everything. And it's like, I'm not even sure if I have all the right screws. And then like, what else I did too is I guess all the bags come in separate, like other bags.
Yes.
So I just started opening bags and like made my job like a million times harder.
And the worst part is that all the kids care about is the net.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
They just care about the net.
The worst part of my 2 cousins, they're like, "Are you done yet? Are you done yet? Are you done yet?" I'm like, easy. Like, why don't you put together the hoop? Like, granted, I'm gonna have a basketball hoop at my house now, which is gonna be pretty awesome, but Like, what the hell, man? You know, like, don't bug me. But then again, they have no idea how hard it is to put a basketball hoop together.
Exactly. Hey,
I
when
don't
that
think.
basketball hoop's finished, just call Coach K over.
Yeah,
Get maybe Jabari Parker to go over and Mr. AJ.
I can get
Have a
that
little
Chris.
2-on-2 there.
I can get that Chris Wanky tryout coming into Duke at 31. They'll never see me.
Literally.
All right, Nick. As always, tremendous job on the telecast.
Thank
We
you.
will
Thank
either
you.
be back either Friday night or Saturday, early Saturday. I don't
TBA.
know. Yes, TBA, TBA, TBD, TBS to be seen. But yes, I mean, if you're watching live, we appreciate you sticking with us the whole time. At 11:15 here on the East Coast. If you're watching this tomorrow morning, good luck in all your tournaments. All right, that's all I got for tonight.
Yeah, no better way to end it. You guys can find me at Fantasy Addicts 1. You can find the man Al Walsh at 14a.walsh. If you
Bam,
have
right
any
there.
questions, just tweet us and we'll answer them.
Indeed. All right, Nick. Safe travels to bed, which is like 2 feet away. But yeah, great job on the show tonight. Also follow us, the Big Three DFS on Twitter. That is the handle of the show. For Nick and the Wagner Wire, who is not here, signing off. We'll see you over the weekend. Peace.